I remember my dad used to say that in the 70s when they got computers into India, so LIC had a strike that okay, will not allow these guys to, they'll remove our job because now they will do everything. We don't do anything from now. But this time around, it's a very real concern because many of the intelligence things which are white collar are getting automated, not blue collar. So the blue collar is far away, but the white collar part, we are just getting things more effortless with AI agents.
So I think you brought a very nice point, right? So
Yes.
if we see till now, all the tools, all the applications, all the kind of innovations that has happened at the cost of blue collar workers. When we talk about any form of mechanics or the kind of industry where we went through a complete manufacturing cycle, there was a backlash by the blue collar workers who essentially said, won't take up this much. And then we started the era of AI knowledge workers in a way. Now AI and is essentially doing the same thing what manufacturing tools did to blue collar workers to AI is doing the same thing. I feel like these are all signals which are giving us that, hey, the world is going to change as we know it. We may be liking it or not liking it, but it is going to change. It is better if we adapt to it and move forward.
Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to the new episode of Founder AI Stories. Today is an exciting day. Today is Holi, and now with us we have the founders of Good Meetings AI, along with our dearest co-host Rashmi Ranjit. Hey Rashmi, welcome to Meetings AI founder team. Hello SR, welcome on board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So before we jump into this new session of a Founder Stories AI podcast, a little bit about them. We happened to meet them while we were at HSR having a discussion about how to spread the word about AI. And that's when the Good Meetings AI came into our notice. Interestingly, they have been doing all those work about AI and productivity, the sales, which is actually, in fact, a big question mark in a lot of cases. AI and its productivity aspects has been a kind of a hazy and hazy thing. And in this podcast, we are going to talk about how Good Meetings is changing the paradigm and bringing in the light to this. So SR, Alok, thank you for joining this discussion. Generic question to both. How did you both meet and how did this story start?
Yeah, Kamya, you want to take it?
Go on.
Sure. So a quick round of introduction. I'm SR. I'm the co-founder and the creative of sales and GTM side at Good Meetings. So I did my engineering from NIT Rourkela. And after NIT, I joined Mu Sigma as a data scientist with many Fortune 500 companies. And you know what? During my work at Mu Sigma, when I saw problems at first hand, I identified certain problem statement like during that time trying to solve it for the real life, users in India and also in the US market. I met Alok in year 2015 when I was trying to raise funds for my first startup. Alok, at that time, he was a hero. Like he has sold his company to Pika and, he was in the news. So I went to him and said, why don't you fund my company? I'm running something in the AI retail space. And that's when we got in touch with each other. And in the year 2017, I met Alok again and we decided to start. That's led to our association since 2017, and we are going working this.
So a quick intro about me. I'm Alok. I have been a techie all my life. I have been CTOs of various companies, love building products, have built multiple products in the duration of probably 15 to 18 years that I've been coding and making people code. So, and now making agents code. So this has been a very good journey, and I specialize mostly in the video analytics side. So I started working when I was building my company called Reality Compass back in 2013. We used to live stream property portal. We used to be a live streaming property portal. So basically, we'll put cameras in the vicinity of the places where new projects are coming up. And people obviously didn't have a way to visit like 10 properties in a weekend. So they can sit at home and watch it. That was the very basic intention. Just streaming video was so difficult at that time. You know, no geo and, very poor connectivity, but we were able to create time-lapse videos. And people used to love that. Yeah, they can see how fast the construction is moving and, extract a lot of data points. So that I realized the potential of real-world data, have some patents in video analytics as well. So in Yeah. So in
Nice.
research.ai, we filed that patent on how we can process videos at a very low cost using browser-based pipelines. So, that's the story of Vsense. We'll deep dive more into it later. But, that was in the visual intelligence in the real world. So in retail stores and so on. So that was a bit about my background back then. And after COVID, we jammed up with Shini, one of our the co-founders, to build Good Meetings. Yeah, that's where we are today.
So, quick
Nice.
question. I mean, sidetrack it. You said you were giving those timeless videos of construction, right? Were they uploaded
Yeah.
to YouTube? Because I love watching those.
No.
It is like, for me, that is my guilty pleasure. Like something is getting built. So you would have seen like those many like timeless videos of, let's say, kind of building a castle out. Someone builds a castle, renovates and puts it out of 2 years into 1 hour. And those videos,
Yeah.
which will keep on playing on my TV while I'm coding. That's how me.
Yeah, you can say that. It's fun actually. You can watch these videos for a long time because you don't need to forward it, and it's a better experience. But if you remember back then, Rashmi, it was more about SEO. So and Google Analytics traffic. So we were optimizing on that. We didn't want to give our traffic out to other websites like YouTube. So yes, we didn't put it elsewhere, but we had good SEO rankings because we used to generate keywords out of that. Like very bright sunshine you'll get every day in the morning. So these are like hard-coded things that we built using Qualcomm's SDK at that time, which was very, very new, visual intelligence in 2013. But it used to work. I mean, it was
Nice.
just rule-based engines, but it started giving out keywords. We started ranking for every review keyword in 7 cities in India. Like, let's say you search Prestige, a Misty Waters review. And, this will be an auto-generated review, which will be always coming. And we used to rank, two links on every page. In fact, that's how we got acquired by Quicker. That's where Quicker's, real estate SEO is, good because of the unique content. Finally, Google has beaten us all. Now it's able to detect content. All this gamification is not possible, but there are people figuring out newer ways.
Yeah.
There'll always be a cat and mouse.
I think SEO and like it is called as gray hat SEO. I'll not say black hat or white hat. Like gray hat SEO is something which everyone tries to find out. Like, okay, what is their gap that I can do to essentially rank higher on Google? Actually, I started my internet thing with SEO. So back in, I think it was 2009. 2008 or 9, I actually started. So back in those days, we didn't have any streaming movies or everything, right? Back in those days, there's portals where you can go and watch. People upload full movies online, and then you would watch, right? That was a big thing back then.
Yeah.
Right now with the streaming, that is not, I don't know how much of fashion I've left that, but I used to rank in top 3 for keywords like free movies online. There was like 100 million competition, and I used to rank top 3, top 5. And I kept on getting penalized by Google. So first it penalized me 50 points. So I was kicked out from top page to 5th, 6th page. I came back again to the top page, got penalized again, went to 5th page, again came back. Then it penalized me like 950 points. I mean, those were back in those days. I went completely out. Then I came back again to the top page. Then it completely banned me out.
Yeah, I remember. I think SEO was this game. You used to have, Mad Cuts. You had moth.com. Every day you used to hang out in these places. It was fun because organic was a thing. Organic traffic was coming up. I think slowly over a period of time, they started ranking whoever put more ads, they'll put some domain rank, and, they started gaming it.
I think it is still the game. There is a lot of traffic which comes from SEO, but we are into an agentic world right now, or an AI world right now. I don't think, like people keep saying, right? People are no longer using Google for search. They're using Perplexity or a ChatGPT to search. And I don't know what the future will be like. But these Perplexity and the ChatGPTs will also incorporating links inside them to go and look further into that. So to a certain extent, if everything is getting served as a consumable content in a chat on a Perplexity, then why would I give content to them, right? Because I'm producing the content, but I'm not getting the traffic. Someone else is benefiting from it. So at some point of time, we'll see a balance shift, and there'll be, okay, you cannot just display everything. You have to direct the traffic to the producers. But till that time is done, I think we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think the ad generation model will slowly die. It will probably give up at some point. And I mean, it will always be there, but it will be a niche compared to what's coming up, right? In terms of, agentic AI and how it can transform all these different industries, including ads.
Right.
Right. And in fact, to add to that, I started my career with video, with HD video set-top boxes, and I've been into this ads world as well. There used to be something called as NVD ads, which used to splice ads and send it those at particular moments. We used to call them targeted ads. So those were the days where you used to target ads based on the sections or the streams that people were viewing. But over the period of time, I think ads have has become like with the age of AI, it has become like a more pointed ad. Like specifically, people choose to see what ads they want to see rather than actually you forcing them and particularly putting them in front, like force feed them. So it is like choosing the ads and seeing what is necessary. So I think we are heading towards the world where this ads and those the ad paradigm has completely changing, and we are seeing that ads which will be more relevant specifically to a particular person's choice or interest, basing on the content they are consuming. So with the content, as we say, we would choose certain like sweetness or certain sourness. We will have to choose the ads itself. That is something which we are going towards.
That's true, Satya.
So I think there is a perfect blend of video and AI and SEO and all those things that we have been doing. So let's take this forward, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why Good Meetings AI? Like this is an interesting name, and maybe anything that you want to share, that why did you name it like this, and how did you develop, like found your MVP, and in this segment specifically the
Yeah.
sales?
No, I mean, this name is pretty interesting. I think this was obviously not my personal idea or Soumya's. It was like a collective idea because we have, a team which we started with, and that name itself was something that attracted investors during COVID because meetings were on top and a lot of things were around video. If you remember, Zoom went IPO during that time, right? So that was,
Right.
really fun, and people were making a lot of money on video. Some of the friends, like Common Flow founders, like Airmeet is one of the companies that started back then, huge growth. And because that was the order of the day, video. Even today, it has become much more important, but that was like a large section of people, even edtech, education started moving online. I used raised billions of dollars. So things started moving towards video, and we realized, sales which we had been monitoring in physical stores has also been moving online. Like, one of our clients, Tata Chroma, they started doing video calls to show products like laptops on because stores were closed, right? So we used to work with all these, physical stores to find out data on how their sales can be improved, like a Google Analytics for offline stores using CCTV cameras. But suddenly in, March, our revenue tanked to zero. It was like a shock for us because suddenly, we had no revenue and we had a team to run. It was like the classic startup thing, what to do now? तो अब तो खत्म पड़ गया. We are not literally, able to go beyond another 3 months. So we got the team together on a video call again because they were not there physically. We said that, okay, let's fight. I mean, we have some runway. We can probably extend it by twice if we take a salary cut. So we did that. And, during that time, Soumya and the team, they got out in the market. We started building out a new product for the current market, which is the COVID market. So at that time, it was like, contactless and, those were the buzzwords of the day. So we started leveraging our computer vision, things that we had built in computer vision and started using it to do face recognition at factory doors where, contactless was a thing. We started building a device with Wipro, and that device we sold 1,000 units, and it was quite a big deal at that time. I think, Soumya, you can highlight more about that.
Yes. So see, just putting down my thoughts in terms of why good meetings. When I was in 2013, when I started my career, right, I saw intercom was one of the area where we're using to communicate with the client, right? And we have on field store, like sales guys, like who goes and meet the client. They're called as the delivery manager or something, right? And when we started also our company, we are also doing on-field sales and also doing phone calls and setting up meetings. We started experiencing June in the year 2017 or 18 when we started, interacting with customers. When Google Meet was there during that period, nearly 20% of my sales calls were happening online first, and 80% was physical meetups. Right? And the trend was shifting from 2017 to 20. It was slowly moving up, right? And more of our meetings are going remote first because of the COVID. Like our business got hit. That is one thing that happened. And second thing, we even if pivoted, we tried something else, but it didn't work out the way we wanted to. Then we says, as Alok mentioned, right, like Chroma, even if Catlin, they started selling product online first. Like they started showing their product from stores to the folks who are surfing online, right? Then we realized the trend will shift permanently in the near future also, where people will start inspecting the product. Like if there's a demoable and inspectable product on your website, people will start inspecting those products first, even if they're ready to pay money upfront to get that product shipped to them, right? And that we saw happening in the software world, right? People are ready to pay 10,000 to $20,000 ACV, like they're ready to pay that amount of money sitting outside in the US. And people from India started selling online, and they're ready to make the deal during that COVID stage. And we realized that sales is going online first. And that's when we started, when we also met Srini during that time, like when he was in abroad and all. We saw like people who are selling remote first. There is no specific rule book to drive sales in that segment. For example, right, in offline, I know like how do I gauge your attention? I know exactly what you're feeling, right? I know how to pitch you, what amount of time I need to spend, and how do I make the sales happen. But when you go online first, right, there's no certain rule book, and managing sales team of 600 to 700 folks trying to understand what exactly has happened. They're meeting, automating their workflows. The revenue per reps were decreasing significantly, or revenue per sales rep. So we thought like, how do we move that metric up by providing any defined workflows, helping them post meeting, building up automation post workflow. That's what led to that's what led to, the success of good meetings. And that is how we can do that.
Alok, and as we discussed this on the call, and you were about to point it out also about your deal with Wipro. You want to elaborate on that? Like, how was the deal and how did it pan out? What happened next? That's a very interesting story for founders in general. Like,
Yeah, I think, Soumya, you want to take it again? I think you're better.
Yeah. So, you know what, some part we need to test it out before releasing it, but I'll generally speak about what exactly has happened there. We saw factory automation where you check the compliance of the person entering into the factory, because during COVID, most of the offline work has stopped, right? But people are allowed to work in factories and all. So we realized if I can recognize a person through face, measure the temperature, everything, and carry out everything in less than 1 second, then I'm making the process or improving the efficiency of the store significantly. So
I want to add that it was like a compliance, like you had to wear masks. I mean, there was no way for people to verify thousands of people are wearing masks or not and penalize those who are not wearing it. It was like a temporary problem, but it was a problem that had to be solved.
Yes. And what we did at that time, we build a hardware that support that entire software, carry out the entire activity, dispensing sanitizer, everything end to end, right? We reached out to Wipro Automation, where they took up the manufacturing side of the thing. We have another company who took up the distribution side of the thing, right? And we were the license partner because we do not have that resources to manufacture here. We don't have the manufacturing unit, right? The deal didn't go through. Like initially, there was a huge interest from the market, but we are not able to deliver the product in time. The deal didn't go through. Like we were only able to disperse around 100 units of the entire inventory, and that's what it has happened. And one of the learnings we have got, like taking from product like concept to MVP, it actually takes time. It can never happen in 2 to 3 months, right? And even if there are huge interest coming from big enterprise clients to support you in that journey, it is you who need to figure out how to get the right product out in the market, right? So I think as an entrepreneur, even if there's a good market, if you are capable enough to build the entire thing, have control over those things, then it is easier for you to scale in the market, or else you are definitely going to face a roadblock there.
I think Soumya covered it very well, because it was something that, every hardware startup in India also needs to learn, or IoT, AI, more and more people will start looking at robotics as one of the things that they can build. So one of the learnings we had is from that experience is building hardware in India is very tough. I mean, the kind of unit that we used to build, we had some components coming from Delhi, some from Pune, finally assembly in Bangalore. We should be building the way China does. They're doing it more efficiently. Like the same product with the same hardware, they're able to build it at 20,000 INR, which we are able to build at 60,000 INR. That's the kind of difference that we have because of all these different people in the chain, rather than a D2C model.
Yeah.
How do I put it? It's more like a manufacturing to startup model. That doesn't exist. It's like a very fragmented world. It's based on volume. And as a startup, you don't have that volume. So that's why.
If I understand right, you are saying that there are like middlemen or multiple companies coming in between the manufacturing and the actual assembly, and that spikes up the cost. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, typically it is a model that they have built over a period of trial and error. The manufacturing industry, I have a lot of respect for how they have been doing it, is because of volumes, right? So if you have high volume, then the middlemen are not there, they're eliminated. If you have low volume, you have multiple intermediaries that you have to go through because you will have some people who will not be the distributor. The distributor will sell to a retailer, and the retailer will only give you 5 units or 10 units for your initial prototypes and hardware. Or let's say even 100 units is considered very less. We are talking about my phone where millions are being manufactured on a monthly, daily basis. So in that market, how the components become like, very costly if you do it in a small scale.
Especially for startups, because they the scale that you are talking about, like thousands and thousands of units in general, makes sense.
Correct. I also agree to what Alok was saying. Like hardware is actually a high risk, high rewarding game. But the problem of the hardware in these ages is specifically the timing. Like if you are able to predict the market and able to know that how much exact units are there, and you start the clock maybe uh, uh, 2 to 3, 4 months ahead, ensuring that everything is manufactured right at the distribution time. It should be available to the customer, and from your place to customers, end mile delivery, installation, onboarding, ensuring the warranty and everything is taken care. And then after warranty, there is another case of refurbishment. All those things has to happen in a cycle, and it takes a huge risk and it takes huge longer time. And but if it works, then it's a different story. But also out of 5 times, like around 2 to 3 times the product will fail. And it's specifically, in my case, it's like we used to get hit by the hard disk issues in Thailand. Hard thing got stopped. Or Taiwan, where the chips were coming from, then that suddenly got stopped. And then your entire order or everything gets delayed, and the like everyone takes a hit. In some cases, I remember devices shipped from China to Singapore. Something had happened, and in India, the tax regime changed, and in Singapore it stayed for 3 months. And per month cost was, after 3 months, they had to entirely dump those units in the Singapore Taiwan Sea. It was because like after that you try to sell it, it will be sunk cost. So hardware has always been a high touch game, and it's something requires a deep pockets and deep expertise to build that's why I think we are sitting at the age where SaaS is actually prevailing, and it's an easy in, easy out model, and we can easily churn out the revenues out of it.
One other point which I reminded when you're talking about this, have you heard of the startup Optify AI? There was a demo by a YC funded startup, which was essentially what they were doing was, they were kind of analyzing video for factory workers and seeing who are the workers giving the best output and who were not good out.
Correct. With the Indian founder and all, right?
Controversy out there, right? How different was your idea from these ones?
That is a different type of product.
Yeah, I think SOP adherence is one use case which we think is good if it's done in a physical world, but in practice it is more like exploitation, right? You're not letting that guy even turn around a bit or do anything, and that would be flagged because these are very precise systems, and they will, unlike a supervisor with a human, they don't have a human touch.
Yeah, I think I was reading about this demo which was uploaded by the founder, and it kind of created a huge ass controversy with all the folks calling it out as, I'll use a right term, where people were kind of saying this is, so 1 second, I don't remember the exact what they were saying, but a big backlash. And I think Y Combinator took it out. They deleted the post and everything else because I think people don't want to be monitored and corrected every time, right? They feel that it is overreach. It is invading their privacy and whatnot. And this was for factory line workers to see if they're doing their job efficiently or not. Right? But efficiency at what cost is what the question happens then.
That's the main question.
See, I don't think so. Like there is a saying, right? Once you show something, the cat is out of the bag, and it is no longer going to be a case of going back. I'm pretty sure there would be factories and institutions who would start taking advantage of these ones. Then it brings the case of ethical AI consumption, right? So where do you draw the line really? Like, okay, let's say as a human, those who are working, line workers, those who are working, and these are menial jobs using their strength and stuff, and not really just the work, right? But even that,
Yeah.
Brian, I think India have the highest amount of menial IT workers in the country,
Yeah.
with so many software firms doing exactly that, right? What stops them from using something like that to see the productivity of?
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a very interesting question. The ethics part of AI is something that no one can define. It is based on culture. It finally comes down to these things, right? And, whether you maximize shareholder benefits, I mean, take Dodge, for example, it's like doing exactly that, and there are ethical questions around it. It's just making you more efficient, something that makes you more efficient. I remember my dad used to say that in the 70s when they got computers into India, so LIC had a strike that, okay, will not allow these guys to, they'll remove our jobs, because now they will do everything. We don't do anything from now. But this time around, it's a very real concern, because many of the intelligence things which are white collar are getting automated, not blue collar. So the blue collar is far away. But the white collar part, we are just getting things more effortless with AI agents. And I feel digital twins is a thing that is more like a middle line, where every person has a digital twin, rather than and that is like, it's like a force multiplier, not like a life multiplier. It's not taking my job. It's kind of making me 10 times better as a worker, as a frontline worker, and it's not making me lose my job. It's just giving more profit to shareholders, right? So at the end of the day, it's an ethical line that everyone needs to.
So I think you brought a very nice point, right? So
Yes.
if we see till now, all the tools, all the applications, all the kind of innovations that has happened at the cost of blue collar workers. When we talk about any form of mechanics or the kind of industry where we went through a complete manufacturing cycle, where a lot of tools came in and automated manufacturing, which was being done by people in hand, there was a backlash by the manufacturing people or the blue collar workers who essentially say, don't take up this much. But that kind of people got absorbed into something else. And then we started the era of AI, so white collar or blue chip or whatever you can call that, right? Knowledge workers in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Now AI and is essentially doing the same thing what manufacturing tools did to blue collar workers. To AI is doing the same thing to white collar workers.
Right.
And we see an equal amount of backlash, fight, pushback on AI that this is thinking for us. How can we allow someone else to think for us? It is going to be wrong. And I believe like people who capitalized or learned how to use those tools or the first generations of computers, right, went up the ladder and started becoming the white collar workers. But similarly, there are the people who have to start using AI as a tool, not as a all in all, and then probably they can also come out of it. I don't know. But I feel like these are all signals which are giving us that, hey, the world is going to change as we know it. We may be liking it or not liking it, but it is going to change. It is better if we adapt to it and move forward, or we keep resisting it and saying that, hey, we are better and this is not going to change at all. Like, I don't know where to draw the line really.
That's the true dilemma that everyone has.
Yeah. See, one of the things also I've experienced over the last 6 to 8 months, right? See, AI is definitely not replacing anyone's job, right? The entire objective here is to improve your efficiency. So one of the metrics we are driving also for our organization is how to improve revenue per counselor or per user or per sales rep, right? And let's take an example, right? For me, earlier, I used to spend a lot of time in building presentation for my client, right? And for that to happen, I have to think about how do the representation looks like, what are the content I need to put. But I know exactly what are the structural input to the entire content, right? And currently, if you have used a software called Napkin, right now, what you can do, you can just put down, these are the contents I need to use, and can you create a slide for me, right? Around this slide. So what AI does the thinking here, it's building up 4, 5 instances of how exactly the slide will look, and you can modify some of the content and make it live for it. So the work which was taking me 7 days earlier, it will just take me like a couple of 1 hour or 2 hour maximum for me to deliver. In short, like AI is helping me to deliver faster. So think faster, deliver faster, and move faster in life. So instead of waiting a month to do the same job, I can do it in 1 or 2 days. So if you see the positive side of AI,
So
it actually helps.
let me put a
that is true.
different twist to this one, right? This is exactly why people are scared. I'll tell you why. See, think of it this way. A manufacturing line that is producing a car by human effort, by humans, is taking me 1 month to do it, and it requires 100 people to build a car out, right? Now, with manufacturing automation and tools and machines and stuff, I can build the same car in 7 days with 20 people. Is that making it more efficient?
Okay.
Is it making the entire people, the process, the system more efficient? Absolutely, it was making more efficient. But it was essentially going and reducing 80 people off the job and increasing their load by 4x time. Like what they could do in 4 weeks is getting done in 1 week, right? With 20% of the workforce. If I apply the same logic right now to the industries, you mentioned about the software, napkin AI, and building a presentation, right? Now, if we kind of expand that to across, let's say 100 entrepreneurs are there, or 1,000 people entrepreneurs are there, who are building these presentation decks for pitching to client. That 1,000 people will, let's say, taking you, like you mentioned, let's say for clarity sake, is taking 1 month to produce one content out, right? Now it will but they will also need multiple different support areas. They would need a designer to essentially design something out, because not everyone is doing a design. They would need a copywriter who would be essentially copywriting for them and trying to fine tune the presentations. And they would then need someone else to assemble the presentation deck, because I have got other things to do. I cannot do all this for 30 days. So right now, you alone can do all the 4 jobs and use the content out in 7 days. To 25% of the effort required and getting 4x more efficiency, right?
That is
Got
true.
it. Got it. But Rasmi, that's always has been the case, right? Every year, if you take an organization into consideration, every year that looks into how do I improve my efficiency, how do I improve the top of the funnel, right? So because of AI, it has taken us 10, 20 years ahead in time, and we're able to reach there faster. Definitely, what you are saying is correct.
You get, I am on the other process. I used to have engineering team with me who used to build out product for me. At least 2 people, one back end, one front end, right? And I used to need to also have a marketing team with me to essentially go in and produce content, produce posts, and go and post it out. Now all of them are done. It's me and Satya, or me alone, trying to do 10 things at the same time. I am saying that AI has given us superpowers, and we can do 10x more, even 100x more, if we know how to leverage that. Right? That
Exactly.
But what has happened here is this change. Normally, people in the world are comfortable with a gradual change. Or the efficiency is at 1%, will go to 2%, will go to 3%, will go to 4%, like that, right? Now it has jumped from 1% to 50%. And then it is moving forward. And these people are not able to imagine or catch up in their mind that how can I jump that much, right? So taking your example, let's say the sales teams are now more efficient. That means I, as a company, if I have got 10 people sales team, I don't have to hire another 10 people to scale it 2x. I can say the same team to scale it to maybe 4x or 10x even. I don't need to hire. But if I don't have the market size that big that I can scale, I will actually then cut jobs. So it is going to impact. The efficiency is what is going to impact livelihood to a large extent.
So this is a classic case of normalization. Before the things form, they normalize. So what we are seeing is an era where it's the same thing that happened with these computers. When the computers came, everyone told that the jobs will be lost. Do we see jobs where those liftmen, or the eras, or the other eras where we are talking about steno writers? Are there any jobs like that? Probably those are getting eradicated. Along with that, like new jobs are coming up where we were talking about this presentation makers, slide makers, and all. I remember there was a time when those executives used to present, there used to be 5 team members with them. One is a UX designer who used to prepare the slides. There used to be a content writer who used to prepare the content. There used to be AV maker who was to make the content, and people who used to review it for 10 days and they used to present that. But now I think it's 7 days is something which is really, really happening fast. Imagine a case for the service companies. I think service companies take money based on the project hours. How are they going to justify their jobs? And basic India became the IT giant based on the service companies. Don't you think that this is going to be a kind of a earthquake situation for those service companies and those companies which has built on the service platform, which is on per hour basis? Like a project was always considered as 8-10
Yeah.
man days, and in a man day there is 8 hours. And why 8 hours? Because you assume that effort when you do a project product management effort, you do large scale, like large tier sizing and all. Everything was based on a certain capacity of coding a person used to do. I'm just baffled to think what is going to happen if somebody has this 10x efficiency. What is going to be the costing thing for those companies, and how are they going to make bread and butter? Is it going to change everything? That's a question that
So
needs
if
to
I
be
put it
answered, I
this way,
think,
see,
in days
earlier
to
what used
come.
to happen, I mean, this will discuss. So let's say in manufacturing world today, the cost, there's a BOM, billing of material and all the cost of material, and then the pricing is decided on what is the BOM and how are manufacturing going to deliver that to the distributors to a large extent, right? They cannot charge a lot, the thing, because cost or the products are commoditized to a large extent. You're just putting it together and giving it out. This was not the case with IT software. It was a knowledge worker. There was different kind of enterprise, different kind of people, and all were charging starting from $5 an hour to $500 an hour, right? Based on the complexities and whatnot, right? But today, if I have to build an application, it is no longer a matter of who I want to select, but it is a matter of what kind of prompts I have to select and can that build it out, right? So building a software is commoditized right now. Now, if building
that
is commoditized,
It is more
I think
widespread now, because now everyone who knows English can be a coder. In fact, I think there will be billions of coders. Anyone who can write English can call himself a coder. And this normalization or this correction in the market was long due. My manager used to say at that time, I remember, my job is to fill bumps on the seat. So it's like how much more people I put, more billing I get.
correct.
So that was not sustainable for a long time. I mean, but now we have
I
superhumans,
think
right? We have people who know coding as well as who can do this vibe coding thing. So now we have the perfect super soldiers, like Andrew Will is telling, have these headsets, and these soldiers are better than 10 soldiers.
Exactly.
So it's an exciting time.
Uh, I think we will have vibe coding, we'll have
true.
vibe marketers, we'll have vibe sales,
Yes.
we'll have vibe operators. I don't know what else. So vibe content writers. That's a very
Yeah. My podcast.
vibe podcast.
I actually recently using a solution called v0.dev, right? Where you can create
Absolutely.
MVP in
Yeah.
seconds.
It's very nice.
And it's very
So
interesting. But one of the my conviction is that for the next 10 years, the service industry will rise in terms of there will be a lot of AI related projects will come, and where they are gonna definitely refine the industry in the US. For example, Walmart is giving certain projects to India earlier. Right now, they're gonna refine it, give a lot of more projects to them to the service industry, and 10 years would be because currently ChatGPT and everything what we have, right? It is on generalized data. So this companies like any companies who are building their data is very secure, right? For them to build AI agents, purpose built for their business is very different from what we have today. I think service industry is going to rise for the next 10 years. That's what my conviction is. But yeah, happy to
right.
be,
I don't know if I told this earlier. You told
True.
about v0.dev and others, right? I don't know if you have taken a look at aki.ai, the website. You put a
Yeah, I did.
picture on any aspect of the website. It is done by AI. Brand name Aki was suggested by AI with a couple of prompts that came in. The color, the theme color, the font, the styling was suggested by AI. AI gave me the prompt, which I then put into Grok to generate the logo. The entire logo, as it is, have been picked up from Grok.
It looked nice. I mean, I don't think a designer would have done something
I
different.
could not have done this. Honestly, I could not have done this. It's like there's a lot of layers within it. So if you see the logo itself is saying a within the hexagon shape, and everything is having a shapes and triangles of that. It's very nice. I love it. But it is done by AI with just this. The entire website content was written by AI. I didn't even edit it. Again, because my workflows and everything we have been designing at Aki is towards personalization and making it consumable in the first place. Every aspect you see there is the content copy is done by AI, with AI. The coding was done by Cursor, using Cursor, again, 100% AI. I don't write codes. I just tell prompts to Cursor, it does it. and it doesn't, it fucks up sometimes. And I go and say, why the fuck did you do that? Don't mess around and correct it right now. So it's
Yeah, I mean, you'll have an AI agent who will just say that to the other AI agent. Why did you do that?
yeah, I
It
think
keeps on
we're
correcting.
in early days of AI automation, but if I can build an entire, so the backend is I'm building with AI as well. The marketing material I'm building with AI, positioning we are doing with AI. Our now we release a product to generate posts for LinkedIn using AI. And I know there are a lot of other providers out there like Taplio or Supergrow and the others. But most of these content is actually very robotic, generic, and not useful. You will not use it as a user, as a founder, because the moment someone pushes it out, there's, oh, this was generated by AI. So there's this inertia or this pushback from the users in general, right? But then we designed a system. If you go back and check my LinkedIn post for the past 5-6 of them, all were written by AI. I did not like with very minor edits. And it is, you will feel like I have been writing it. Why? Because we can make AI do that much work, but there's a lot of work required. So I spent about 120 days to come up with this one. Not everyone will be doing that. So I think every aspect which we see is now robotic, now not there yet, will become very easy. Starting with coding, by the way, because coding doesn't need any language. There is no storytelling idea. There is no, oh, the language here is off, the grammar is off. It is all syntaxes. The syntaxes are straightforward and it will just get done. I think coding will be first thing which will be automated. Like
That is true. Absolutely. That is the area where we are seeing much of tractions. So switching gears, Alok, one interesting things that I wanted to ask you, like we had a previous discussion, selling to the enterprises or businesses. Now, this AI has a formal word for businesses and enterprises. They always fear that you are going to use the data to train the like other algorithms, and they want to protect the data specifically and voraciously. And if you should see that Europe is behind all the AI innovations, it's because of the strong GDPR rules that it has. So, what are your thoughts on this particular aspect, the privacy aspect of the AI, and how is it that you are selling to enterprises, this
No,
business?
I feel the enterprises won't buy if you feel that if they feel your data is not secure, period. Right. And you shouldn't build it that way. And I always feel, the answer to that is on-prem open source. That way you have full control. In fact, even before COVID, we used to put a device inside the store so that the video never goes out to the cloud. It is just processed, on the edge. So that is one area where I would say all the enterprises will definitely want it. Like processing on their AWS or using one of their, Docker or so many different ways of doing it rather than, calling a cloud service, because you can start using a cloud service just to test out. Let's say today there are voice services, Sesame, 11 Labs. There's so many of them, right? But if you want to do it at scale for your own enterprise, let's say your Walmart, you're not going to use an API of 11 Labs. You are probably going to have them deploy their models on-prem. So that is the way we are seeing success as well. We are enterprise first. So we are seeing a lot of the enterprises prefer on-prem. We use Llama 3, we use Whisper, and we basically build that whole pipeline using open source tools. And if they want, we can deploy those containers on their Azure or their AWS. That is one way we have seen it. And second is compliance is a well-defined industry that is SOC 2, GDPR, ISO 27001. We are compliant with those different standards. These are needed for the sales teams to have extra arsenal in case, there is a question, so that there is no question at all of, why your data is going out. If you're using our SaaS service, we are SOC 2 compliant. If you are going live at scale, you can put it on-prem. So that's how we have tackled that.
Then if you're putting that everything on-prem, that how do you manage to improve or fine-tune? How do you prevent the hallucinations that happens? Because it's a local instance, and that we need a specific external
Right.
fine tuning to make the model better. Like specifically, you have to build a RAG pipeline or to build a kind of a fine tuning model.
Yeah.
How do you
That's a
manage
very
to
good
do that?
question, because in fact that was the first issue that we faced on how to put updates and make sure that the updates are done to the core and the prompts are different. The prompts are at the user end, and not just that, all the boundaries that you have to put on where, let's say, look at, let's say, transcribing, right? Transcribing and generating a summary. That is one task which a lot of people have stopped doing because it's fully automated. Now, just to make that fully automated, you need to make it dependable. Every time it should work the same way. The reliability should be built in. So that we do on our SaaS platform. We have learned over the period of last 3 to 4 years that how we can make something very reliably running on the cloud that runs on a AI model, right? And now that you have that, the core AI model doesn't change. It doesn't get fine-tuned for each customer. You can't deploy an index for every customer, so to say, right? You have to deploy the core and then you use RAG models. That's where the magic part comes in. You have a human in the loop, because human in the loop is not going anywhere. Even the Waymo cars are teleoperated. Yeah, whatever said and done, I feel that is the current generation of LLMs are capable, but they're not as capable as a human in the loop with LLM. Human versus AI is not the game. It's human versus AI plus human, right? So that's the answer to all the places where customer has challenges. They want to fine tune their prompt. The human is finally the arbitrator. They decide, okay, this output is bad, this output is good, this is not acceptable. So we have those thumbs up and thumbs down on giving the automated feedback, and they are audited by humans. So that kind of regularly we take their audio recordings, we tune them, on our system using the audio that they give, and finally put the model and the tunings that they have. So this is obviously not done for every customer. This is done only if you have a high volume. But the people who are at, let's say, 15 seats, 10 seats, for them, the SAP model works pretty well because we keep on updating that. So that's all.
Okay. So, there was an onboarding period when you totally set up your model at the customer premises and you train them how to effectively use those nudges, whether they like it or not, and to efficiently do the fine tuning. So, for that, like, how is it that it happens that if there is a error comes or there is a issue comes, provide a support for that, or you train those companies teams to handle this human in
So
the loop
as I said,
themselves?
there is that feedback mechanism, the thumbs up, thumbs down for each individual user. But there are obviously system alerts that we have set up where we are not giving them as a open source MIT license where they can run it and we don't give any support. We are having a SLA of 1 hour for every of these companies because these are business critical applications. So we make sure that, let's say, there is any issue. Let's say there is a meeting for which somebody had an issue, or let's say the CRM autofill that we did for them didn't probably use a vendor as a customer or something like that, right? Which is very difficult to find out for the AI. So that's where we have a SPOC from our side and from their end, which is like a typical enterprise engagement, and they take care of it from their own. But those cases happen very rarely. I mean, over a period of time, what we have seen is through these different automation and feedback loops, we have minimized it to a great extent.
Got it.
One more point I want to add here, so what we have also, Alok has done, the team has done to the platform, they have given the edit option to the client. For example, the output you are seeing is not aligning with your requirement or something. You can edit the prompt on the fly and generate, and customize the entire output, which is aligned to your requirement, right? So that level of customization, because we right now need to also empower customers to, set up their own workflows when we are deploying on that environment, right? So these are some of the things or feature we have built that is enabling client to build their own, workflow, build their own output. And that is also helping us to reduce some of the, work we need to do to deliver that out.
Okay. So it is never like a pure AI. It is always a human in the loop where there is a continuous fine tuning optimizations going on. So then that we are far from the era where there will be complete job losses or job shifts. Probably it's all about the 5x or 10x in productivity, but again, it needs like a lot of fine tuning aspects on that.
That's so. Yeah,
So
it's not like my AI talks to your AI. That those days are not yet.
yeah, coming to this thing, I think this is something which is a interesting point that you brought. My AI talking to your AI. Everybody is now, we see, is talking about agentic AI, and we have seen the recent news like Salesforce is building their own agent force. HubSpot is having their agent force, agent systems. ServiceNow recently acquired a company on the AI agentic side, and we are seeing that OpenAI has recently released a tool for building
Right.
AI
Yeah,
agents. It's a free tool. Now, where are we heading towards that? Are we going away from the era where there are APIs talking to APIs? Are we coming to the era where there are agents just now talking to different agents? Is it that something that
Yeah,
you're
we are
also
seeing that because
foreseeing?
context is what is lacking, right? Even if AI agents fully automate, they don't have the context. The context comes from prompt and a largely human input. So that is the only challenge in full automation. So once we cross that threshold, maybe a few years down the line, all these become templatized, and many of these workflows will be AI agents. Like for example, call centers, right? That is one of the things that areas that we are very actively working on is in telesales. We want to make sure that let's say you give us a couple of your recordings, we know how you talk. There's this SOP that you follow, and it can fully automate your voice. I mean, 11 Labs just closed it. So you are able to do 10,000 calls instead of 10 calls. So that is one area that I feel will multiply. Those are areas where AI is already good at. Where it is not good at is, as you mentioned, these places where you still have hallucinations and issues like workflows. Like MCP is one area that I feel is very good in. It's a good step which Anthropic recently launched. So it standardizes how AI talks to another AI. One AI talks to another AI. That was long pending. I mean, I thought the natural language English should be the medium in which AI talks to another AI, but it turned out that they need to have structured output and context rather than just gibberish prompts where everyone has their own structure. So to just put more structure, we need to have this whole world of APIs still relevant more than yesterday. Yeah.
You are right in that aspect that today the game is all about the context. Like, how do you maintain the context? And because there are limitation of tokens, limitations in memories, sending those relevant token like context for all persons is something has become a challenge. So that is the game. Like there are companies I've seen who have built context as a service. Like we had RAG as a service. Now we are seeing context as a service where they are optimizing the context so that it can add more personalization or more history towards this interactions that is going on. And talking about 11 Labs, one of the interesting things that got
Yeah.
viral, I think we all saw, where there were two agents talking to each other on their languages, and they realized they're agents, and they started talking in the agentic language and all, like it's a structured outward language. So that was something very interesting, which actually is a glimpse that we are seeing where agents talking to agents could be in their own language, where there is
Yeah,
more
yeah. That
structured
that
happening and
project
all.
was won the 11 Lab hackathon. That was actually a hackathon project these guys put up. It is very interesting to see, where the world is moving. If this really, is true, then over a period of time, the structure will be decided by the agents themselves rather than we giving that context. That's where the world is moving.
Taking it one level further, like Elon Musk has released Optimus, so robotic AI talking to humans directly. You might have seen those instances where the robot is interacting with humans like a normal human.
Yeah, that is there.
I think we are on the cusp of so many changes. I don't think in the last 20 years of my career, I had seen so much of a change or a magnitude of change coming to the industry. I feel like every 7 days, I'm already out of date if I'm not keeping abreast of what is happening in the AI world.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I think around
Yeah.
2018.
So one thing me and
Yeah, I just wanted to
yeah,
add that,
please,
around 2018, we used to go to these websites where the Google will release a paper maybe once a month, and, they will say that, okay, we have one more paper, we haven't released it, that we are already using in our brain project. So they will, move at a very slow pace. Now, because of this globalization, and thank God they made it open source, the entire world is now moving towards open source. The pace of innovation every day on Argosweb, you will find probably millions, if not, if not millions, at least thousands of new papers, and all of them have very novel approaches. There was a channel on YouTube I used to follow, Papers with Code, and there was a guy called, from Europe who used to summarize all these papers. Okay, what new thing is happening in 3D modeling, what new thing is happening in face recognition. So many topics that I used to watch. That channel has started releasing a video every hour now. So I cannot keep up with it now. Earlier that so much
So
content, right?
much
They have hired a team to
So
do
much
it.
thing is, yeah, right. So I think me and Rashmi were having a discussion some time back. It was like the Shivratri day, and we were thinking how to categorize our AI knowledge. Like, who am I? Like, what is my level of knowledge of AI? We are meeting with different sets of people every day, and we were trying to categorize that AI curious is the one who think that AI is shifting everything. It's taking away my job, or probably paralysis. They are curious to know what is happening in the AI. Like the guy, they want to know about it, but they just know about the chat GPTs of the world. Then there are people like AI knowledge or AI literate who know about ChatGPT, who know about Anthropic, who know about things. But then there is other people like I think you guys are all like who are fluent, who know about those visual devs, who are using AI to in their code, probably using cursor, bold dev, and watching those AI things that are happening like Star Wars. And then I think the level what we are talking about, the ultimate level, the AI leaders who are actually making this bolts and machines, and they're changing this paradigm with the trick of the hand, like the Thanos of the world, who are just doing like this, and they're changing the AI, and we are all gazing, hey, something has changed,
Why do
like
you
a
call
night
them
and day.
Thanos? Also the Iron Mans or the Captain Americas of the world. Come on.
Yeah, Thanos of the world means they're just breaking the reality in every second. What is the today we are talking about what is going to happen in the future. Next day we will wake up and see it has already happened. So then you like as founders and entrepreneurs, you would be thinking of the idea. Okay, I'm trying to make this idea and it will be revealing. Next day somebody would have released it and taken over the market. It has come to that stage. So that is why
Yes.
I'm saying this.
Yeah. See, one of the insights also I've got over the last 3 years, when we are releasing a new product into the market, for us to go for a new version or bring a nice upgrade, it will take us another year of research, interacting with customer, then we upgrade and come with it, right? Right now, every quarter we are thinking of upgrade because the customer is also becoming very demanding considering how the market is moving. I'll give you an example here. We started with, initially transcription and summarization, right? That's the entire product that was very new to the market, right? And in a year's time, we realized, we have to modify this product because this is getting commoditized. People will start giving it for free very soon. And we went verticalized, focusing only for the sales team, right? So all the functionality and features we built, like generating automated pitch report or autofill, like any kind of reporting structure and of carrying out the auditing, we have built it to enable the sales team, right? Right now, the demand has also come from the customer, even if we are seeing a trend like all time for AI SDR, using those data, everything which Alok mentioned. They wanted an SDR, do the calling to the customers, carry out the initial discovery thing, take out the entire initial interaction effort from the SDR head, right? So that is the kind of level of efficiency they are seeing, and their market every quarter or 6 months, they are also trying to improvise, right? It's not only happening from our end where we are looking to improvise our product, even if customers are becoming demanding day by day.
Makes sense.
That is true. This is something which is changing the paradigm. It is all about like having those customers at a different realm. Customers are also becoming AI literate, or probably they're feeling that they need to keep up with their competitors who are bringing in. So that's where I think the demand is coming up. But then, how do you cater to the demand? That is the big question.
Yeah, I think you need to position yourselves. I think this is where services companies again can make a comeback. If you need to position yourself that okay, you are constantly reinventing yourself. So then the customer doesn't have to do all that hard work. So every year you are changing a product and giving a new one to him, right? In a way. That's what we always thought is possible, but now we are seeing it in front of our eyes that every year these companies are pivoting to some new area which they didn't think of last year. Like for example, before Chat GPT came out with GPT-3, we launched a summary. So when I saw the first summary of my meeting, I was saying, wow, this is going to change the world. How can I write such a beautiful summary? But now it is available for $10, $12 in Gemini. I mean, it's not even a breakthrough technology anymore. Just two years, in just 2 years. So now, think of MCP and all these things which are coming in 2025, 2025. By end of 2025, we'll say that, okay, this is so much outdated. I mean, show me something new. So that's something that you'll always be on a treadmill. And if you're not on that treadmill, then you can't play the AI game.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think this is going to get very, very interesting for consumers, for people, for businesses, how they're scaling it up, how they're adapting, leveraging AI and going to the next level. That actually brings me a good segue. SR, you mentioned a few tools that you're using. You mentioned about Napkin, which you use to essentially create pitch decks. Now, normally what we try to do is we try to see what are the other tools that you have been using apart from Good Meetings. Obviously, you have been blown out and you were loving it. Like the example you mentioned, like Napkin. What are the other AI tools that you use on a day-to-day basis?
So, see, I can talk from the sales side of the thing. What are the tools I'm using to enable my day-to-day activities? So, one of the tools I use is Lavender. Lavender, I met this company in Silicon Valley when I was there last couple of years back. So, it helps you to coach you on your emails and all everything, right? So, whenever I write an email, everything, before, instead of me figuring out what exactly I need to, how to structure it out, Lavender does it for me, right? So, it's an
Right.
email coaching tool I use it for. Then I use Apollo, basically for not only for data enrichment, also for writing sequences and reaching out to customer at scale. And because of the Apollo's recent conflict with LinkedIn,
Yeah.
so I have started exploring Clay, and Clay is a better enrichment tool I have seen. Like because I was stuck to Apollo because it was providing end to end from enrichment to reaching out end to end thing to me. So then when I started exploring Clay, I realized you can write prompts to generate signals, and because they have been interacting with a lot of data points apart from LinkedIn, we are able to generate a lot of insights against that lead, right? To carry out, understand whom to reach out, whom not to reach out, right? So that is other tool I have been using out. Good meetings definitely for my meetings, summaries, action items, generating custom reports. But what we do with the output of the meeting, right? For me to design workflows in CRM, for example, let's say once the meeting has happened and customer said, can you call me 8 o'clock, same time tomorrow, right? Or can you set up a meeting tomorrow, right? Then it should be certain workflows that can help you design that action for you or send a calendar invite, right? Or build up those action items into your CRM, right? So for that to happen, I'm using DevRev right now. With DevRev, what we are doing, we are making the actions generated from a meeting as a ticket or a task in the CRM itself, assigned to the owner who is gonna own it, right? And then I'm pushing the task to the respective person in the team, and they deliver it with the timelines, everything. So then, apart from this, let me remember.
Obviously, the chat GPTs and the clouds of the world is something
There
you
are
would be
tools.
using a lot.
ChatGPT is everyone is using it, so I didn't took that left. But Claude, definitely Claude. For SQL queries and all, I believe Claude is the right platform to check it
Interesting.
out. Yeah. But for presentation, I remember saying Napkin. There's another called Gamma. I used Gamma, but I found presentation. Sorry, I found this Napkin.ai to be more intuitive in terms of providing a great visualization of slide by slide. So Gamma gave me the entire presentation, which can be edited using Napkin. So I
Interesting.
interchange whenever it's required.
Cool. And how about you, Alok? What are the AI tools, agents, stuff that you use on a regular basis?
Yeah, I mean, one good thing that I realized is, today you can automate many things. So, and particularly in tech, that's like the biggest impact. So, in my team, everyone uses Copilot. So, I mean, or if, sometimes we don't have budget for, some new hires or interns, we tell them use our ChatGPT account with whatever ID you are using. At least, because Copilot is something that I think has worked well for us. Recently, Cursor, a few people have started using. Their feedback has been it's better with Python. And, being subject matter experts, I would definitely say that we we feel that a Cursor is a better tool for coding. Then apart from coding, we also have checks on, how what customers are doing on a day-to-day basis. As a tech team, we need to be aware of, what their issues are and bugs are. So for that, again, I would recommend DevRev. We use that. They have something called Agent OS. So every customer ticket automatically has the context which they have got because they have a embedding on our product. They call it plug widget. So it captures all the details at the time the customer had the issue, like what browser was he using, a screen recording, and it tries to even give me a solution based on past interactions that I had. So that has greatly automated our SLA in terms of ticket resolution. Like someone says, okay, hey, I recorded this meeting. Can you help me find it? In most of the time, the chatbot will reply and say that, okay, this is where it is. So that automate. Earlier, we used to do it manually. So that's how it learned. So that was a wow moment for me to realize that, we can teach a machine and it understands it and
Right.
it is able to now take up and do it at scale. That actually is pretty much the major tools that we use. Then there are a lot of other tools like There's some YC companies that we work with, like one is Athena, another is Future AGI. They are in the space of preventing hallucinations in our product. Like they use another LLM, and there are various techniques, very smart techniques to, make sure that your data output that you get is sacrosanct. That I would definitely recommend using one of these tools or build one of your own. Yeah. And this is one area which I would stress upon is build on your own if you have a tech team, because these agents are not very difficult to build. You are just kind of putting together APIs, and all you need to know is what you want, what part you want to automate. That is the most difficult question to answer. Right. So that's where all these tools are coming in. Chat GPT is more for me, more like, whenever I don't have any tool, I use Excel to pass around files. So Chat GPT is something like that, where it's like so generic. I can pass prompts around, get it back into another system which accepts the prompt, right? Or maybe I don't want to write a lot of things, so that's where I use ChatGPT.
Got it.
I Yeah, and in personal life also I use it a lot. I have CCTV cameras in my home. It's all fully automated. It gives me a alert if someone unknown comes to the door. It is something that I like. There is a Airtel XSafe, by the way. That is something I would recommend. They don't sell you the hardware. They give a RTSP stream, so you can hook the RTSP stream to your laptop, and your laptop kind of then runs the processing. So it's kind of super simple to do. Weekend project. You have to use something called Landing AI, a video intelligence tool by Andrew Yang. But it's a basic version, but it works.
Nice. That's quite a handful of good tools that you mentioned. I think I will go and check out a few of them. I had come across Lavender for the first time. I had not heard this earlier. Pretty sweet page and stuff. I think that's going to be great. And amazing. I mean, this is essentially why also we like to talk to more people. You get to learn so much, man.
Yeah, I like your videos. Even I learn a lot from the content you post. Particularly, I think the intersection of Web3 and AI, that is an area of interest as well. Where I think the world is moving towards that, where AI has agency. What it means is it can take decisions, and finally there needs to be some way to verify those decisions. And blockchain has already got all the building blocks for it.
Right.
So, best of luck for that.
I think the next 3 to 5 years is going to be amazing. Like it will blow things up to the extent that we haven't seen earlier. And there's going to be a lot more backlashes that we'll see.
Yeah.
I think we'll be hearing every week, if not every day. And at the same time, the human civilization is going to move forward so rapidly ahead that probably we would need more time to catch up with it. And that is where we'll start getting rid of this doom scrolling and other things and say, if I don't catch up now, I'll be dead tomorrow.
Yeah, so we will have a AI FOMO team, like a new term called AI FOMO. Like, hey guys, things are changing nowadays, and then there will be AI anxiety, something that you are falling behind and things are changing. So yeah, I think this is something, a new term along with that is happening. And 3 to 5 years, I don't think 3 to 5 we have to wait for that. Just imagine, Rashmi, like we started this learning about this AI and not from the October. We are sitting in March. How many things have happened in the course of weeks? It is just weeks that things changes. DeepSeek came, shook the world. Then the operator came, shook the world. ChatGPT, they are shaking the world. Then 11 Labs have come, they have also changed the world. Then we are seeing companies become billionaires, like $1 billion ARR in matter of weeks or months. Like with less than 10 to 20 people are creating $100 million ARR companies, and that too it takes like less than a year. So things are changing, and we are seeing these SDK tools, agentic tools. These are all happening within the spaces of weeks. We don't have to wait for months now. What makes us a question is, as founders, as thought leaders, how do we adapt to this and specifically and build products, including the products that would be consumed by people or audiences who are yet grappling to know this? That is going to be the interesting balance. How are we going to ensure that our product is up to date? There were ages where we used to make patches, but are you going to make patches in the weekly times, or is it that we are going to wait till things mature? And
So
what is the
my
maturity
answer
period?
is very simple.
We
Man.
still
Get
don't.
the AI clone that will do it everything for you. Spend time to do that so that the AI clone is learning and just adapting itself. You don't.
You like on a lighter note, Rashmi, you're building the AI clones for
That's the idea. So
LinkedIn, right?
I'm building an AI clone for
That is
myself
something.
and then experimenting on these humans. Those who don't know, like we are building, but I'm building an AI clone for myself and then having, okay, different units out here. Okay, this is my AI clone for LinkedIn. Can it do all my job by itself? Now,
Got it.
how can I fund myself? Okay, let me sell it off or give it out to people as a SaaS product. They give me the funds, I'll build the next AI clone for Twitter, and then I'll build the next AI clone for blogs and other things. So this is the marketing stack, and then there'll be a different stack, and all the stacks have to come up.
It's awesome. I mean, yeah, all these digital twins are coming, and you have the potential really to have a uniqueness about your own digital twin. My digital twin will have, let's say, 10 features. Yours will have probably 15 features. That is how the world will, differentiate between people who, I mean, let's say when I am probably interviewing, I may ask, okay, how good is your digital twin? And if
We should get to
it's
that.
very good.
What is a digital twin? Can it do jobs for me or not? Have you
Yeah,
trained it enough?
I'm hiring you, but how good is your AI?
Yeah, and while you are sipping like pina colada in some Hawaii or somewhere, and your digital twin is doing your job and taking your salary, so is it able to handle the real-time questions, real-time logistics, and able to learn
So
itself? So that is something we are going to ask, and probably
yeah,
your AI
remember there
clone will be
always used
asking
to
that
be a
AI
saying
clone.
there are only 24 hours in a day. I don't think that is going to be the case anymore. We'll have digital clones or just multiply the number of hours we are working right now.
Yeah, top efficiency.
Yeah, that is, but yeah, like touching it, like we are looking at the age where productivity and efficiency is going to be high. But along with that, the ethics and compliance, that is something which we are always expecting. Like we should not be looking at world where things go unethical and it against the human accessibility and as well as the human existence. So that is what we are all hoping. With this, I think we are towards the end of this segment, and it has been a really interesting discussion so far, and we have to got to know a lot of new things, great discussions that is happening. So Alok and Azhar, any thoughts or parting thoughts that you want to share with our audience?
Alok, you want
Yeah,
to
I
take
mean,
first?
please go ahead.
So see, I understand things are changing very fast, right? But one of the things that I feel we should do on a daily basis, which I do, like stay close to customer, and be very mindful about what is happening around. And if you want to stay, stay different as compared to any other competitors or any other thing, you have to figure out two steps ahead in terms of what exactly is the next thing, which is gonna change the game or take the game to the next level for our customers, right? So if you focus on those two, three areas, like then we are in the game, and we are definitely gonna, rule the entire. Well, we're actually gonna make a mark in that entire segment, and we very focus on because one of the things AI have been a generalist. If you go on specific verticals, focus on specific areas, like start with the niche or something, then you have a stay because not every AI tools can serve everything. uh, Companies will be needing dedicated insights or resources to that can drive their entire business to the next level. So yeah, that's pretty much. But lovely talking to you, Satya and Rasmi, and it was very insightful for me also. I learned a lot
So
from this
Yeah.
entire.
thanks, Asad. Alok, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was wonderful. It's really great that you guys are doing this show, and I wish all the best for Aki to become that AI that we were just discussing, and hopefully help us all. I mean, I would advise anyone who is getting into AI today to always, I mean, as you were saying, focus on the customer. Even Jeff Bezos has the same philosophy. To focus on what is not going to change rather than what is changing. Right? We know that okay, customer will always demand something new. They will not say, okay, give me something technology of 2018 today. So you have to be up to date. Unlike, some of the things where, you had no tools to look up to. Now you have so many tools. I subscribe to at least 100 newsletters and I'm able to read them. So because, the AI has made it possible, unless you employ them in your day-to-day life, you will not learn how good you can personally become. So that is what I would encourage you, everyone who's watching this to do,
Awesome.
which is use some tool, make yourself more efficient. That's the only way you can move ahead.
That is true. Absolutely. I think interestingly, like it resonates very well to what Rashmi was speaking a couple of days back. Figure out the distribution. Distribution is the key. So if you figure out what is in demand and what customers are going to buy, building it, selling it is going to be the natural things. So even in the age of AI, efficiency is increasing, but what it needs that how fast you can ensure that you are building what the customers are needing what are the pain points that they have, and you are elevating the pain points, the unique matter. And the touch or the personalization, that human touch, how are you bringing it? AI is just an enabler, like which enables you to build things fast, bringing the productivity and all, but it doesn't change the other side of the paradigm, which is the humans. It's the humans who are consuming the service, humans are who are paying for that, and what they need is something we humans can understand. So at the end of the whole cycle, how we are going to do it, that is what is changing. And I think the distribution is the key, and it still remains. And it is a great insight that you also brought into
Amazing.
this
I
discussion.
think this is amazing.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you folks, man.
Same here.
Free flowing.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Same with us.
Thank you for tuning on to the Founder Stories podcast. Today, we hope today's session with our incredible guest was interesting and inspiring. If you enjoyed this conversation, please share to subscribe and give a review and share it with anyone. Stay tuned as we continue to bring the stories of more extraordinary founders, explore their groundbreaking strategies, and showcase the latest AI tools and innovations that are shaping the future. Until next time, keep dreaming big and turning challenges into opportunities. See you in the next episode. Bye.